So welcome to the second prenatal yoga flow sequence. Today we're going to start standing up. So you want your feet about hip width apart, maybe even a little bit wider if that feels better for you. Plant and ground all four corners of your foot into the mat with a soft bend in your legs. Roll your shoulders up towards your ears and then guide your shoulders down your back. Think about your shoulder blades rolling down your back. And just bring your arms to your sides, palms facing forward, and find a spot about eye level to bring your focus to it. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And open mouth, exhale. Let's take another inhale. Fill up your belly, fill up your lungs. Now seal your lips and slowly exhale out your nose. So you can choose to exhale out your nose or exhale out your mouth as you go throughout class. If you exhale out your mouth, it'll be releasing hot air, and that'll help you cool down a little bit. So take a few more breaths here, just coming into your space, centering yourself onto your mat. And then let's slowly start to move. Roll your shoulders up towards your ears and then guide them back. Up, inhale, exhale, roll down. Another one, inhale, exhale, roll back. Let's go forward, inhale up, exhale forward, inhale up, exhale forward, and then inhale up, exhale forward. Let's step your feet out a little bit wider so you have a wider base, hands on your hips. And we're going to start with some hip circles. So just start to shift your weight to the right, shift it back as your upper body moves forward, and then to your left, forward, and back to your right. Let's do one more circle clockwise, and then let's go the other direction. Breathe as you move. And then let's slowly come up to standing. Take your hands off your hips. We're going to come into eagle arms. So eagle arms helps with stretching your upper back. So tee out your arms. And then we're going to bring your right arm underneath your left. Give yourself a big hug. And then you want to walk your fingertips back and around towards your shoulder blades. And from here, lift your elbows. And breathe into the space between your shoulder blades and in your upper back. Now, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can unhug yourself. Keep your right arm underneath your left, and you're going to cross at your elbows and either touch the backs of your hands or touch your palms together. Wherever you are, keep lifting your shoulders up to the level, or your elbows up to the level of your shoulders, and continue to breathe. We're going to go into the other side. So unwind, tee out your arms, and then come into a hug with your left underneath your right. Lift your elbows. And if you'd like to go deeper, touch the backs of your hands or work towards touching your palms. Let's unwind, tee out your arms, and then let's bring your arms behind you. Clasp them together, either thumb over, whatever feels comfortable to you, and then just gently guide your knuckles down towards the ground. Gaze up and then lift your hands away from your body. This is a chest expansion grip, and this is just balancing out the eagle arms. This stretches the front of your body while eagle arms stretch the back. Okay, next we're gonna come into a forward fold. So I suggest that you use a prop, either a chair or a table. I happen to have this bookcase in front of me. So I'm gonna place my hands on this bookcase. If you have the chair, you can place your hands on the chair. And then drop your chest towards the ground. Reach your hips back, and you can have a slight bend in your legs. This is kind of like downward dog against the wall. If your prop is lower, you can lower down a little bit more, but just keep your spine straight and avoid rounding in your shoulders. Okay, you want to create length between your vertebrae. So think about your hips reaching in an opposite direction from the crown of your head. So this is great for your back as well as your hamstrings. Okay, bend your legs, slowly roll up to standing. And then we're next gonna come into a standing cat-cow. So we're gonna come back into a forward fold position, but this time, place your hand on your shins or on your thighs, and a little bit more of a bend in your legs. Okay. So in a cow position, your back is arched and your chest is lifted. So think about your tailbone pointing up to the ceiling, your gaze going up to the ceiling, and your spine arching. Take an inhale in your cow, and then exhale, round your shoulders, press into your thighs, and gaze at your belly button. You want the opposite movement and rounding in your entire spine. Inhale to a cow pose, and exhale to a cat. You can do cat-cow in a lot of different positions, either on the ground, seated, or even in a chair. And now standing up. Now come to a neutral spine, so in between the cow and the cat pose with a lifted chest. Bend your legs a lot, rise up to standing. And then we're gonna do some more standing poses. So I'm gonna teach you how to go into Warrior One. So in Warrior One, your feet are about 4 feet apart, 4.5 feet apart. So I'm gonna start with my right foot. Step your right foot forward. Back foot is pointing about 45 degrees. Front foot is pointing straight ahead. Bend into your front leg. And you want your hips kind of square to the front. Okay, so if you want to step your feet out wider and also shorten your stance if it feels more comfortable for you, then absolutely do that. Arms reach up to the ceiling. Your gaze is forward, and gently guide your chin back so that your neck is long. Stay here for 3 to 5 breaths, or work up to that. And then we're going to open up into Warrior Two. So Warrior Two, your hands go in opposite directions, front of the mat towards back of the mat. And you can have a longer stance. So inch out your feet, so you have a longer stance, and a deep lunge in your front leg. Your back toes are still at 45 degrees, and your gaze is still forward. So you want to keep a strong core here. The strong core helps your shoulders stay over your hips. Inhale through your nose. Exhale. From here, we're going to come into a side angle pose. So reach your right arm forward, bring your right elbow to your right knee. Left arm comes up and overhead. Turn your gaze up to the ceiling. And then think about your heart right here, turning up towards the ceiling as well. You should feel it here in the side of your body. And there's one long line of energy from your left foot all the way up through your left fingertips. From here, press into your left foot. Rise back up into a warrior two. And then we're going to turn to face the long edge of the mat in a star pose. So toes out, heels in, and then reach your arms in opposite directions. Imagine there's ropes pulling you in opposite directions to lift you up, and then also lift through the crown of your head so you're really big and tall. Let's bring your hands to touch overhead and then down to heart center. At the same time, sink your hips down into a squat. And this is horse pose. So you can shift your weight right to left to get comfortable in the squat, and then stay in your squat. So notice here if your shoulders start to shift forward of your hips. You want to also have a strong core here and keep your shoulders right over your hips. And that's okay if you end up coming a little bit out of your squat in order to maintain that. Okay? So holding this posture helps strengthen your thighs, helps you for labor. And then from here, we're going to reach back up into a star. Slowly straighten everything. And then we're going to pigeon toe our feet. So toes in, heels out. Hands come to your hips. And then slowly hinge forward. Place your hands onto the mat. And then make sure that they're right underneath your shoulders. And shift your weight into the balls of your feet, so just slightly forward. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Rise up, back to standing. And then we're going to go into the other side. So starting with a warrior one, left foot forward, right foot back. Inhale both arms up for 3 to 5 breaths. Now if you notice that the outer edge of your back foot starts to want to come up, bring your focus down there and really ground it into the mat. You can also then step your feet out wider. Let's transition into warrior two. Now shift your shoulders ahead of your hips, left elbow to left knee, right arm comes up and overhead. And then turn your heart up. Notice if that increases the sensation on the side of your body with your stretch. So we're going to rise up, warrior two, then open up to the long edge of the mat into a star. Reach up, lift, and touch your palms overhead. Bring your hands to heart center and then sink your hips into your horse pose. Now the second time around, If you're feeling a little bit more comfortable in your squat, you can start to take little pulses up and down. Or you can lift one heel and then the other. And then alternate between lifting one and then the other, and then maybe lifting both and then down. So you can play around with it. Inhale back to a star pose. Pigeon toe your feet. Bring your hands to your hips. Hinge forward. Now, if you have a chair or a prop and you want to use the chair in this pose, please do that. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Rise up slowly to standing. And then heel toe your feet together. And bring your hands to your side. And so turn to face the short edge of the mat. And then we're going to walk your feet out as wide as the mat. Lift your arms up to the ceiling. And then we're going to come down into a squat again. But a slightly shorter squat. Right? Bring your hands to heart center. And then slowly as you drop your hips down, place your fingertips on the mat and shift your weight right to left. So further strengthening our thighs. Come back to center. Slowly rise up to standing. Arms up to the ceiling. Hands down through heart center. Sink your hips down. Fingertips onto the mat. Shift your weight right to left. So if you have a chair or a pillow or a block, you can bring that here into your squat and sit on it. Okay. Bring your hands to heart center. Use your elbows to open up your knees and lift your chest. So again, avoid rounding in your shoulders and gazing down. You want to lift up and look out. And then let's come to a seat. You can remove the block. You can sit on the block. Come to whatever comfortable seat feels good to you. And bring your hands to your thighs and guide your shoulders away from your ears. We'll just take 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And slowly open up your eyes. Thank you for joining me for your practice. I hope that this sequence